So I've been playing a lot of SOD lately, and during my time in the game, I've experienced a lot of the weather effects that this game has to offer. And I've gone back and forth between SOD and retail, and I can't help but feel like there has been a massive backtrack as far as weather systems goes. So in this video, I thought we would just discuss the topic of weather in World of Warcraft and show a few comparisons, as well as talk about how I think retail needs a major overhaul and or update to the weather system. And real quick before we begin, if you guys are doing me a huge favor, hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel, because as you can see, 98% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you guys could do that, I would really appreciate it. Alright, so the weather systems in World of Warcraft. So this video idea kind of took off after I was leveling in Dragonflight Storm in SOD, and this footage here you guys can clearly see that there was a really intense rainstorm that really just pulled me in and made me feel super immersed. And what I really liked about this rainstorm was just like how intense the rain was coming down, but then also you had like the rolling fog kind of creeping along the terrain, and it just made everything look really cool. And as I was leveling around here just trying to kill Dragonflight tigers, I kept thinking to myself like, man, when was the last time I saw a really intense rainstorm like this in retail WoW? And honestly, I can't really think about a time when that actually happened before I would say maybe Mists of Pandaria, maybe even before that. Now, as a comparison, I decided I had to go back and check out some of these other zones and kind of see if I could catch a really good rainstorm. And unfortunately, I tried for a couple of days, and the best I could do was this one here in Elwyn Forest, and unfortunately, it really wasn't that strong of a rainstorm. And as I was kind of hanging out in the zone, and I was like watching the rain come down, I was like, I don't really think I've ever seen a rainstorm that was like harder than this one in the more retail zones. At least what I mean by that is vanilla zones in retail. I will say this though, the one thing that retail weather does better than classic WoW is definitely the skyboxes. I mean, take a look at this. This skybox is amazing. I really wish we had something like this in classic WoW, but you know, unfortunately, technical limitations and all that stuff. But I'm not just talking about the rain systems in the game, right? Unfortunately, I was not able to get any footage of this. You classic players that have spent a lot more time in the game than I have, you guys could, feel free to let me know in the comment section. When I played vanilla WoW, there were really intense sandstorms in zones like Tanaris and things like that. And I believe, like the snow zones like Winter, Spring, Dunmorod, anything like that. There were really intense snowstorms too. And obviously in retail WoW, I have not experienced any of that for many, many years. I think the last time I saw an actual sandstorm in Tanaris was probably a year or two ago when I was questing that zone with one of my lower characters. And I feel like that actual sandstorm was just very light and it was just heavily muted, I guess. It almost feels like all of the weather effects in all the older kind of retail zones, it feels like Blizzard's kind of like dialed them back almost. I don't know if this is because of a bug or maybe players have complained and Blizzard decided to like tone them back because I keep hearing some people saying they don't like to play when there's just intense weather effects going on. But either way, something's happened, right? And either way, it just really makes me envious about how these really awesome storms are happening in classic WoW, and we don't really have anything quite as intense. Now take a look at this footage here. So this was recorded in the Dragonflight zones in the Waking Shores. This was the hardest, most intense storm that I could find. Unfortunately, it's not as good as the one in STV where it had like all of the fog effects and things like that. And the other thing that really sucked about it was this storm lasted probably 5 minutes for me. Maybe I came into the zone late or anything like that, but it just seemed like it happened really quick. And it really sucks because this storm looks amazing. You've got a really good, intense storm coming down. You've got the really awesome skybox. And then also the clouds are actually blocking out the sun. So it's a very kind of dark and gloomy experience in the zone. And it really just changes the whole vibe of the zone itself, which I think is really awesome. But again, it feels like the storms in retail WoW are just so short-lived. I would love it if we could have a storm like this happen in retail in like one zone or two zones where it basically hits the entire day. I think that would be really cool. And for those players out there who just don't like these really intense weather systems, or maybe, maybe you've got a really bad computer and it slows it down, or you just don't like it, whatever that be the case, I feel like maybe they could just add an item that you could use to just, I guess, negate the storm effects. I don't know. But either way, that is all I've got for you guys today. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys think that the weather effects have been, I guess, dumbed down, or do you think there's something else going on here? Either way, let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm still Solo, and I'll see you all in the next one.